it's table base time. I'm gonna build a base for a table out of this steel. This is some heavy duty stuff. 3/4 of an inch thick, 6 inches wide. I got two 10-foot lengths. I made a mock-up out of wood. So this table is gonna be, the base is gonna be 28 inches tall. The table top thickness, it's a big slab, a big piece of fir. That's 2 inches thick. That'll put the top of the table at 30 inches. This is 32 inches wide. So I'm gonna cut these pieces up, weld them together. Well, before I weld them together, I gotta drill some holes, put some slotted holes on the milling machine into the top of this so we can put some screws up into the bottom of the table. Those slots will allow for expansion and contraction. All right, these pieces are heavy, man. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Working in the machine shop is like working in the gym. We're saying our prayers, we're eating our vitamins, we're doing the heavy lifting. Slightly before we go over to the milling machine, so I'll just knock the corner off. Alright, right now what I'm doing is I'm choosing the parts, the two pieces that will be the underside of the table. Now I'm looking at this hot rolled steel almost as if it's a piece of wood. I'm looking at the grain. It's actually the patina of the hot roll. Now this is going to get a finish of Johnson's paste wax. I'll show you the process later. I heat this with a torch and then I apply the wax and it just comes out looking fabulous. So right now I'm looking at the pieces I want to be the bottom and the sides. Like this has a little blemish probably from the forklift driver, so that will be the top side. I think I got a couple nice pieces here that will be the bottom. All right, I'm gonna bring these two pieces over to the milling machine, cut some slots in those. I just want to show you the layout I'm doing for the screws. Now the screws that I'm using is these Simpson strong drive screws. They're 1/4 inch, 1/4 by 2.5. And I'm going to do 6 screws in each top. And this is going to be a 1-inch slot. It's hard to see on the camera. I laid it out with the scribe here, the old Randy Richard scribe. Thank you, Randy. And so I got a slot 1 inch long, staggered. Now that is for the grain, so I don't have 2 screws in line with one another. You don't want to accentuate any kind of splitting or that type of thing. So we stagger the screws, and then we have a slot that the screw, when you put the screw in, you're going to put it in the center of the slot, and then the table can expand and contract if it needs to. All right, here is the setup on the Bridgeport. I got our top plate clamped down to the table. I have a 5/16 inch drill bit. I'm gonna put that in a 5/16 inch collet. Insert this here. And then I will drill these holes, and then I'll come back with the 5/16 inch end mill and mill the slot. is the 5/16 inch end mill that I'm going to use to make the slot. This is a carbide cutter for flute end mill. So I took out the drill bit and I will put this right in the collet. All right, now I'm going to lock the quill and I'm going to raise the table to make our cut. All right, I'll keep the same cutting speed at 1300 RPM. I'll raise the table and then I'll go back and forth and take off a little bit at a time and make the slot. Went very good. Our slotted holes look deluxe. So now I'm just gonna deburr these holes with a little deburring tool. Now I'm going over the steel with some light sandpaper. I got some 220 on here. I'm just gonna lightly sand the surface, take off any kind of sharp spots that might be on there. If there's loose mill scale that's on here, a little bit of the dirt. And then I'll wipe these all down with some acetone, and that will prepare these for the wax process. You know, after this step, I gotta weld these up, and then the last step is to put the wax on. Good wipe down with some acetone. All right, now I've just marked these with some chalk where I'm gonna grind off a little bit of the steel here, put a little chamfer on the edge so when I weld these, I'll have like a little root weld in between the two surfaces just to get a little bit more penetration and grab onto the steel. The chalk isn't representing how much I'm taking off, it's just marking the side and the area where I want to take it off. All right, I got this all jigged up on a piece of steel here. I got a piece of plate. So I laid this all out. I clamped it all together. I'll give you a closer look here. So I'm just gonna put some tacks in the corners here where I ground out the groove here, the chamfers. I'm gonna fill this with the weld, but first I'm gonna start with a couple tack welds on each one, and then I can stand this whole deal up, weld from the top, flip it over, weld from the bottom. All right, watch your eyes. You might wanna put a helmet on for this. Some tiny tack welds just to hold this together. So now I'm just gonna clean these up a little bit with this wire wheel here on the grinder, and then I'll lay some beads right in. to bring you in here for a closer look. So I'm just laying this in with the MIG into that groove. Right here I'm just using like a cursive E pattern to lay that in, and I will grind this flat. I'll grind the top of that weld off so it sits nice and flush on the floor. This is the bottom we're looking at. Now what I need is a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity I need. What I'm getting ready to do now is to heat this up. I've got the oxyacetylene torch. I'm going to heat this all up, and then I'm going to brush on a coat of the Johnson paste wax. I got a bristle brush here, a natural bristle brush, because this is going to get hot, so that's good for applying this. So I'm going to crank this up and throw on the heat. See now if we got enough heat, and that looks just right. Yeah, that's going on real nice. It's just smoking a tiny bit, but not where it's burning it all off. So this is, I can tell this is just the right temperature. I'll quickly work on this, get a coat with the whole deal. It's nice. As soon as you touch it with the brush, it just melts right into the steel. Okay, now while it's still relatively warm, I should say hot, it's good to give it a wipe down in case any of the wax has pooled in an area or that type of thing. You want to get a nice even coat. Oh, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Right? I know you can see it on the video, but if you see it firsthand, it really just looks so nice. Right? I can feel that in the rag. The rag is so hot coming off of this hot steel. Super cool. I just love this look. This is an old blacksmith technique for, you know, putting some protection on some steel, but the look of the steel when it's waxed like this just looks absolutely incredible. I really, really, really like it. And then after I get it all wiped down, I just give it a quick touch with this matte gas torch. And this can even out any areas where there might be a swirl pattern or something from the rag. But this is a nice touch just to go over it one last time, just real quickly. It kind of evens out the finish. Alright, I just cut a nice couple pieces of felt here that will go on the bottom of our stands, and I'm going to glue this to the bottom with my favorite glue here, the old Barge leather craft cement. This is great stuff. So I'll put a coat on the felt, a coat on the bottom, and then stick these together. this felt is looking pretty good. That's stuck on there nicely. All right, now it's time to load these up and go put the tabletop on this base, head over to the customer's house and see how this all looks. All right. This tabletop was milled by my friend David and then finished by my friend Spencer. Now we got it all together here at the customer's house and it just looks beautiful. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, share this with your friends. All right, I hope you're all doing great. Right on.